Coach, if you want to open up with what it felt like to be back, and then thoughts on the game.
I have to send a remote thank you to Micah Shrewsbury, whose idea this was last year as we were shaking hands before we played in Ann Arbor. And he grabbed Juwan and he grabbed myself and he said, and this is a hard word for me to say, to honor me, I don't need to be honored, but to honor me, they would like to take their Palestra game, they would like to take their Michigan game to the Palestra. And Juwan was right away, yeah, I'm up for that. I didn't know all the places that he's been that he would really understand what that meant, what Micah Shrewsbury said. And then in the spring, it is true, in the spring, a week after the coaching change happened, I called my son and I said, listen, wherever that contract is, go get it and execute that contract. Because I will admit to being selfish, because to have the players on both teams have that experience, it's Sunday afternoon. And the only thing that was missing, because I did, and I don't usually do this, but I glanced up to the top, and the only thing that was missing is that the windows were not open. And everybody that's a veteran here knows that when it gets that hot in there, they open the windows. Always have, and hopefully always will. You know, the people in New York, I'm not on their favorite son list, but when we played St. John's, I said it was a spectacular experience. Being in Madison Square Garden, Rick Pitino coming home, it was tremendous, but it was an arena. Our players and the Penn State players today got to play in a gym, and that's where they learned how to play, in a gym. And the crowd and the noise, and somebody said at halftime, the noise. And I said, yeah, we're a road team, and we didn't handle it well in the second half because our defense stopped communicating. And we ended up with like 5 islands out there, and we're not, in this league and with that offense that they run, you can't be on an island, and that's unfortunately what it was. But I've said to a lot of people for a long time, not about the rings, not about the nets, not about the number of wins, not about the accolades, not about what people say or think of my career. It's about the memories and the relationships. And Micah Shrewsbury started a memory last year, and then Juwan this morning when he said, I want you to coach, it's another one. I have a book, and I have all these chapters in my book, and this will be one day that will go in that book.
So you were, when the break took off, when you were standing there coaching, just wondering like what was going through your mind? Were you thinking back to all the time you've been here? What was going through your mind?
I was trying not to look, because and I don't mean this egotistically, but if every section I could look around and I could see a face, and that face would stir a memory. And I knew that in order for me to serve, and that's all I wanted to do, I wanted to serve the players. In order for me to serve, I had to be like here. But there was a point, maybe early, when I said, you know what, in my head, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz is absolutely positively right. There's no place like home.
Phil, there was a timeout you took early, and you guys controlled the game a lot of the first half, but it got pretty loud in there early, and I don't remember what happened. There was a timeout you took that.
The second half.
The first half, that some guys might not have taken.
Oh no, we took our first time out in the first half with a minute something left.
Okay,
Yeah.
But some of the guys might not have taken it. and you took it because it was kind of like a timeout of experience.
It was use it or lose it. We had a stretch there where we pulled a little bit apart, and I'm not talking about missing shots or even turning over. As long as you're predictable, the other four guys on the floor can react to your play, and we were unpredictable. We were unpredictable for the beginning of the second half. Most of the second half, I would say, there were plays. We were really fast in the first half, and I think it was the excitement and the noise and the fact that we were up. We had some juice because we've played this stretch really coming from behind and coming from behind and coming from behind. And again, I'm not analytic. I don't coach analytically. But we had 19 turnovers. We had 0 fast break points. That's the 4th game this year we've had 0 or 1 fast break point. In today's college basketball, we addressed it, and we will continue to address it, and we'll get back there tomorrow and hopefully play with better pace.
So the parts today that was offered, Jawan sitting there, getting up at times, doing some coaching, going in the huddle, was it?
No, we've done that. Like that. Like we did that in the Bahamas, and the players were aware. Jawan's mind, ATOs coming from the NBA, is extraordinary. So we told the players in the locker room here, he'll handle ATOs. Howard Isley is an offensive coordinator. He would handle the offense. Sadie Washington would handle the defense. I'd handle the timeouts and the substitutions. So that there was nothing awkward in that way. No.
Can you tell me what has this week been like leading into this game today?
Well, we had to play late on Thursday, so really anybody that knows any coach, it's the task at hand. Obviously, we knew this one was there, and we knew that there was a 12 o'clock start on 12 o'clock start on Sunday. I spoke to my son probably Tuesday, and I said that's has to be it. Like this text or that text. Where do I go to buy tickets? And actually, he went to the ticket people at Penn State and said the only thing available is on StubHub. So anybody that hit us after Tuesday, I said, but that's it. Like, you have to concentrate on. They are playing at Michigan State. We're playing Minnesota at home. For me personally, this was my scout on top of all the other. So I wanted to study them and not assume that I knew. Well, Mike is from VCU, and so I studied them, and then it was a bit surreal yesterday, being in Philadelphia and people saying, well, where, like these managers and the walk-ons are calling me and going, where do you go to get a cheesesteak? I said, you got to go to the neighborhood. Like, I don't know Center City. Like, this isn't my Philly, if you know what I mean. And then you have all these quirky things. We had a fire alarm pulled at 3:30 in the morning. We were all out on Broad Street. There was a guy out there with music and a speaker. And when I came out of the hotel, he's hugging me. He puts me in a rap song with the players there. Just keep going. The bus driver got lost coming to the Palestra. I'm embarrassed to tell anybody that I was on a bus that got lost coming to the Palestra. I broke my glasses.
Did family dinner last night?
Pardon me?
Any family dinner or anything last night?
No. My wife went to UMBC yesterday to see my son, his Bryan team, play at UMBC, and then she had a surprise. She had to go to a surprise party for. It's an amazing story. Like they're a made-for-TV group, 8 of them have been friends since 1970. The September 1971, 8 of them have been friends. They graduated from Immaculata, and one of them was 70. So they had a dinner for her. And I spoke to my wife at one point and said, you know what, I'm going to get done probably about 8 o'clock, but their dinner didn't get over till 10, so I ate in the hotel and stayed here. I spoke to my son Jimmy yesterday, and I spoke to my son Philip on his way home from Bryant. So.
What was it like to share this particular memory with Jimmy?
I think it was shared with more than Jimmy. You know, I think if I had the right count, 7 of my grandchildren are out there. I mean, he's like Krista Julia is out there. So it was more than just with Jimmy, and did such a terrific job. And I told you I would start with telling him that I loved him and I was proud of him because of all he's been through, and I finished the game the same way. There's no like bragging rights. There's no like, you know, I got to buy ice cream at Avalon Freeze next summer. I have to do that anyway. Like, that's in the grandfather manual. He does owe me. No. He wasn't the one. He wasn't the one. And the only other thing that came up was he wears size 11, and I wear size 11, and I now have 39 pairs of Nike. So as I head into the horizon at some point, he's calling dibs, and the ones I have today, he said those are pretty expensive. So.
Got time for one more?
You spoke with Jimmy before the game. I know you waved to a lot of people. I mean, what was that conversation like?
By the way, that's my nephew. That's my nephew. He's one of the leading sports journalists on the East Coast, right? So I'm proud of him. Well, to speak to him would be, that's, to me, is natural. Like, you know, like other coaches might have idiosyncrasies, and I certainly have my share of them. But to speak to him was a really big deal. I got something to show you, by the way. You know, every game I coach, I have all kinds of trinkets on my body. There's your grandfather. He's with me every game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.